It's 1999 in Yugoslavia. Katerina is singing in a church while her family watches proudly. Fast forward to 2017, she is sitting in a bar, singing along to a George Michael song, her favorite. A man approaches, asks her if she's thirsty, and needs another drink. Kate, as how she prefers to be called now, jokingly asks if he's a psychic. She tells him that she's a singer and is going to an audition in the West End the next day. The man wonders, is that why she's here now? Actually, she had just moved out of her friend's apartment, and she cannot go back home because she cannot tolerate her family, especially her mom. The man tells her she needs a plan or someone. The next morning, she wakes up on his bed. He tells her he will make her breakfast and goes out. She takes a shower. While she's in the bathroom, a woman suddenly comes in. Not knowing Kate is in there. Turns out the guy named Ed already has a wife. That woman kicks her out with her stuff. Kate walks away to a Christmas shop called Yuletide. That's where she works. Kate's boss is a woman named Santa. She asks Kate what she has done this time, as last week she had accidentally fried another roommate's pet fish by dropping her hairdryer into the fish tank. Santa tells her soon she will run out of friends to crash at their place, and she doesn't want Kate to sleep in her shop. Kate puts on her usual elf costume and starts selling Christmas decorations to customers. Suddenly, her older sister Marta comes into the shop, telling her to call Mom, because Kate never picks up the family's phone. And every time their mother calls Marta, Marta tells Kate to act like an adult. This time, she called because Kate missed another appointment with the doctor. She was seriously ill a year ago. Kate asks if Marta would bring her friend to the family Christmas dinner. Marta tells her to call Mom and leaves. Kate keeps asking her friend Jenna to let her stay at her place while working, which annoys Santa. She tells her to focus on work, and she goes to clean the window. That's when she sees a guy standing outside, who keeps looking up. She finds it weird and asks him what happened. He points to a bird and she turns to it, but the bird defecates on her face. She had to go inside to clean up. Later, the man follows her inside and asks if she wants to walk with him. She doesn't want to and thinks he's so weird. She shows him the way out and goes back to work. A tall blonde man walks into the shop and acts really nervous in front of Santa, and Santa, uncharacteristically, does the same. Kate realizes they are acting weird because they like each other but are too shy to say anything. But Santa denies it, as usual. She goes home and tells Kate to lock the door before she leaves. Left alone in the shop, Kate suddenly realizes the audition has already started, and she hurries out the door and forgets to lock it. When she reaches, the audition has already ended. The judges give her one chance, but she has to sing without music, because the sound engineer has already gone home. The judges tell her to sing a cappella as a penalty for being late. She decides to sing My Favorite Things. The judges tell her that was really bad. Kate disappointedly goes home and bumps into a strange man she met earlier outside the shop. He delivers around here and asks her to walk with him again. He introduces himself as Tom. After turning him down a few times, Kate agrees to go along with him. Tom shows her the narrowest alley in London. He tells her to look up and see all the interesting things people often ignore, like a grasshopper sign outside of a bar. He believes those things have a story, and he wants to learn about them. Tom leads Kate to a small, beautiful garden. He tells her that this is his secret garden. He starts telling Kate about the stories of some people sitting there. A divorced husband, named Gideon, is worrying about paying child support money, a vegan who works at Burger King named Goph, or a woman who works at a brothel. Each of them has a story, a personal story, and no one, despite knowing about each other's story, will talk out loud about it. Kate is curious to know why Tom is telling her their story. Tom replies that maybe Kate's now one of them. They go home. Kate tells Tom that she will have an audition for Frozen next week. Tom doesn't know what that is. Kate tells him it's a story about sisters who have a fallout between them. She might think of it as herself and Marta's situation. And Kate asks for Tom's number, but he doesn't have one. He locked his phone in a cupboard because he was tired of looking at it all day. Tom suggests maybe Kate should do the same, and all her stress will go away. But Kate says she needs it. Kate goes to Jenna's house. Jenna is pregnant, and Kate can stay in the baby's room until Jenna gives birth. Jenna's husband, Rufus, is a clean freak and meticulous. He enjoys making handmade models and doesn't like the fact that Kate is coming into his house with her shoes on. While Jenna is talking, Kate falls asleep. Rufus is still unhappy with Kate because she accidentally destroyed his wooden ship model the last time she stayed there, and he calls her selfish. Jenna defends her, telling Rufus that she is her best friend and she was ill the last time. She asks Rufus to give her one more chance. Rufus agrees. The next day, after another one-night stand, Kate wakes up and accidentally destroys another of Rufus' handmade crafts. So she leaves abruptly. When she comes to work, it seems like someone broke in and trashed the place. Santa is talking with the police. Kate realizes she didn't lock the door yesterday. When the police left, Santa tells Kate that she faked a break-in so she could get insurance. Santa tells her that because of her carelessness, she had to break the law. She is really disappointed with the way Kate is acting after her recovery from illness a year ago. She gives Kate another chance and asks her to clean up the mess now. That night, Kate stands outside and sees the tall blonde man. He cannot decide whether to go in or not, and then leaves. Then Kate sees Tom coming. Kate tells Tom that she is now homeless, and Tom brings her with him to a homeless shelter. Kate, frustrated, says that it's not that she doesn't have a home, she just chooses not to stay there. Tom shrugs it off, telling her to stay sober and to do volunteer work. Kate laughs at him for being so saintly. Kate calls her dad, who is a taxi driver, to come pick her up. He doesn't follow her into the house because he also avoids her mother, who's paranoid and talks too much. She comes home, joking about the KGB despite her mother's protest. Her mother looks through her stuff, sees if anything looks suspicious, complains because she doesn't call home, and when Kate goes to bed, sings her a Croatian nursery rhyme, as if she is still a child, which Kate finds unsettling. Kate and her mother go to the hospital for a checkup. Despite Kate insisting that everything is fine, her mother says that she's in a terrible state, eating junk food, and not sleeping properly. The doctor says Kate should take care of her heart, and her mother should stop being paranoid and start sleeping. But she has used all kinds of medicine and still cannot sleep. The doctor suggests she go out and communicate with friends, but all of her friends were hurt in Yugoslavia. They go home. Kate goes to work, and Tom comes to find her. Kate decides to tell him about her family, on one condition, that he doesn't judge. Her family immigrated to London from Yugoslavia. Her mom was a singer, and her dad was a lawyer. Because of the war, they had to leave and lost their job. Her dad became a minicab driver due to the lack of money. He couldn't retrain and get the license anymore. Both of her parents are depressed, especially her mother. That makes her family life feel like hell. The last time she saw her mother more lively is when she fell ill. She believes her mother is happy because she got the attention of the doctors and nurses at the hospital. She's been in the limelight for once, and after that, she's never been the same. Tom suggests that maybe she felt like she was useful for once. Kate shows Tom some other weird stuff in Santa's shop, and then they go to the riverbank. Tom tells Kate to look up, stop eating junk food, and take care of her health. But Kate says that she plans to become famous and die young like Kurt Cobain and Amy Winehouse. Tom brings Kate to sneak into a skating rink, where there are only two of them. Tom teaches Kate to skate to prepare for Frozen. They dance and had fun, and Kate starts to skate better before security finds them. Kate thinks it was a good date. Tom tells Kate his last name, Webster. Kate is going home, but Tom finds her at the shop. Kate feels like she would be fired. Tom suggests Kate do something nice for Santa. Before leaving, Tom tells Kate to look up again. Next morning, Kate sees the tall blonde man standing outside again. Kate decides to tell him to come in and ask Santa for help. They finally talk. Kate goes to the audition, and thanks to her skating lesson with Tom the other day, she manages to give a great performance. The judges are impressed, but in the end, she falls down and seemingly blows her chance, once again. Kate goes back to the shop and finds Santa is preparing to go out with the man earlier. She helps Santa to get ready, and while doing so, she listens to her stories. For each of her previous businesses, she chose a relevant name, and Santa obviously isn't her real name. Kate teases her, and Santa asks Kate about Tom. Kate decides to go to the homeless shelter looking for him. At the shelter, she sees an old man, Arthur, bargaining with the man in charge, Danny. She asks Danny about a man named Tom, but he doesn't know people who work there at night. Tom must be a volunteer, and he doesn't know if someone with that name volunteers there. He asks Kate to help serve the homeless while he prepares soup. She is instructed to let each person take 2 biscuits only, but someone distracted Kate, and they took all the biscuits when she returned. Now only tea is left. Later, Kate comes back home. They are having a family dinner to congratulate her sister Marta on her second promotion. Their dad is really proud of her because she's a lawyer. Kate says she isn't hungry. Marta starts getting annoyed and complains that Kate is too tiresome. Kate gets mad because she wants to be called Kate. Her mother gets angry, and Marta is sick of Kate's problems. Her mom reminds them that Kate is sick, even though it was a year ago. She starts complaining that dad has never been around and cannot comment on any of their daughters. She also says that if Kate isn't sick, why does she waste her time in a ridiculous shop, even though she's smart, which makes Marta upset, because she never got to choose her dream job. Becoming a lawyer was her parents' dream job, and now Mom asserts that Kate is smarter. Marta accuses Kate of stealing the limelight, and she should be ashamed of herself. Kate, out of spite, tells everyone that Marta has a girlfriend. Marta gets furious and leaves, and so does Kate. Kate wanders around. She goes to the shop and the shelter and accidentally bumps into Tom again. She's angry at him because she couldn't find him, and he also didn't try to reach out to her for 2 days. Tom realizes Kate is in distress and needs help. He takes her to his apartment. The place is surprisingly clean. Kate sits down, and they start talking. Kate tells Tom that she's a mess. When she was still ill, people acted weird around her to make her feel special. And now they break her heart, acting like she is unnecessary. People keep telling her she's so lucky to be alive, but she feels half dead. People treated her like she was special when she was sick, but now they expect her to be normal. It is too much for her, and she cannot do it. She then allows Tom to touch her scar. Tom says there is no such thing as normal. That word, in itself, causes more harm than good. Kate feels like nothing is fine, and Tom is the only one she can trust. When she is around him is the only time she feels like she exists. She laments that she thought she was good at singing, but it turns out that she cannot do anything. Tom believes being human is hard, really hard. It's okay to mess up and not know who one is. Every single action one takes every day is what built them. Hearing this makes Kate give in to her emotions, and she makes an advance toward Tom, but he refuses. Kate wants him to at least sing her to sleep, but not like her mother. He suggests that she should sing because she's a singer. They sing together and kiss. The next morning, Kate goes home. She sees her mom watching TV. Her mother is scared that they will be deported. Kate goes to work and learns that Santa's date went amazing. She calls the man boy because his name is too hard to pronounce. He has given her a lot of sauerkraut, and even though Santa doesn't like it, she still eats it for him. Santa also realizes Kate made her a cup of coffee for no reason, and she wonders why Kate started to be so nice. At night, Kate brings a cup and gives a singing performance in front of the shelter. She only gets 5.75 pounds. It's very little, and Danny isn't impressed, but his assistant encourages her. Kate decides to stop auditioning, and Santa thinks it is one of her rare healthy choices lately. Kate's performance at the shelter involves more people from the shelter. She sings with them, and it gets more attention. And she earned 27 pounds this time, through her performance. She gets closer to her new kin, and discovers many talents of theirs, especially Old Man Arthur. She holds an audition for homeless people to let them show off their skills. One of the shelter's workers listens to Kate's story, and suggests that maybe Tom is afraid of his own emotion for her. Kate goes to their secret garden to find Tom sitting there. He has something to tell Kate. Kate often thinks such a conversation doesn't end well. All sorts of scenarios run through her head. Tom wants Kate to be independent and not depend on him for emotional support. Kate cannot accept that. She tells Tom if he doesn't want commitment, then he should just say so. She is not willing to give her heart to someone, just so that they can break it. And then Kate leaves. On the bus, Kate overhears a Croatian couple talking. This angers a racist man. He starts ranting about the immigrants. Kate assures the couple that they have nothing to fear. She's Croatian too. She introduces herself as Katarina, finally accepting her heritage. Kate decides to meet Marta, but only meets her girlfriend, Alba. Marta doesn't want to meet her. She has come to apologize, and Alba calls Marta. Marta still doesn't forgive her, and tells her that an apology won't change anything. But Kate still apologizes. Marta finally calls her back, admitting that both of them are damaged. And it's been tough growing up with their mom. She's, according to Marta, a piece of work. Kate sits at a bar, looking out the window. A man approaches her, but she refuses his advances. She goes back and prepares for her charity show at the shelter with the help of Santa. Kate goes home, meets her mother, and talks to her. Kate realizes her mother's worry isn't unfounded. She assures her everything is going to be fine. She then takes her mother to the foreign market she had crossed earlier, while leaving Tom's apartment, to meet people, socialize, and spend some mother-daughter time. She buys some things to apologize to people. She feels she owes an apology, a bottle of wine for Marta, an antique collectible ship for Rufus and Jenna, and goldfish for the friend who lost her pet fish because of her. She's trying to improve her relationship with the people around her. While walking past Tom's apartment, she hears someone inside. She goes in and sees a man on the phone. She thinks that it's Tom because of similar clothes, but when he turns around, he isn't Tom. He thinks Kate is Mrs. Challies. He's Andy, a real estate agent, trying to sell Tom's apartment. Kate doesn't understand when the agent tells her no one has lived there for months. Turns out, the previous owner passed away a year ago. He was a man with the name Webster. He got hit by a bus last Christmas while driving on the street right before Kate had her heart transplant operation. Memories bring Kate back. She was alone the whole time. No one ever saw Tom but her. She realized the truth. Tom had passed away on the night of Christmas Eve, last year. Tom was her heart donor. The chair in the secret garden, where he always sits, is dedicated to his memory, with his quote "Look up" engraved on it. She goes there and sees Tom. He explains that she can feel him, because he's always been a part of her. He wants Kate to promise that she will take care of their heart. She promises to do so. 2 weeks later, the charity show at the homeless shelter finally takes place. Everybody shows up: Kate's family, friends, Jenna and Rufus, Santa and Boy, and her other friends. Her mom has made a giant crempita cake for everyone. Kate gives a speech before the start of the show. She reminds them that they are so lucky to be alive and can help each other, which is the ultimate happiness. And then she sings Last Christmas, wearing her iconic elf outfit with beautiful lights. Everyone starts dancing and celebrating Christmas together. Kate finally has a family meal, this time including Marta's girlfriend Alba, who is a very good cook. Her parents are glad to have Alba as their family member. One summer afternoon, Kate sits in Tom's secret garden, in the chair dedicated to his memory, and looks up, smiling, just like he told her to.